Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I'm here with Joe. How you doing?
I was all right, Perch. How are you?
Well, I was also all right, and I think both of our lives are about to get a little worse.
Yes, a little.
Um, it's okay. So we're talking about a book here, um, which I think I can generously describe as unique.
Yeah, and this came out. It's almost 10 years old now.
Yeah, it's a 10-year anniversary review now.
Yeah, so you owned a shop at this time,
I
right?
did. I did. I had memory hold this comic. I remember it coming in. I don't remember why or what I was thinking at the time. But
Hmm.
this is "Our Love Is Real" by Sam Humphries, who was a couple of years away from making it pretty big in the industry. Like he would go on from here to do some pretty big things,
Yeah, and then kind of not after
and
a
then
little while.
vanish. Yeah,
Yeah, but he jumped into doing this after doing Fraggle Rock comics for Archaea, which makes this creepier.
that makes it so much creepier.
But
Actually, I didn't know that. That's terrible.
yeah, because that's really what he was doing before that. Now
Okay.
this I vividly remember. I was going to this comic shop, Blue Planet, at the time. It's no longer
Yeah.
here on Long Island. Joe Vasilla, he was the guy running that shop, and I remember he was disgusted by this comic. He was like livid it existed, and other people were too. Like this was the kind of thing he had in the shop, and was just he had a copy set to the side to just show people, like, can you believe this? Like, what is this? Why? Who would make this? And he let a bunch of us read it or skim through it and stuff, so we could be like, what the hell is? What is this? And it's like done like a meme. Like the logo's a meme. like it looks like the kind of print for Our Love Is Real and the Humphreys and Sanders at the bottom. That
Mhm.
they just put the image in a meme generator and typed it.
But pre-memes, really. I mean, there were
Yeah.
memes, but this was pre. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around. And so, for all of you who are listening to this right now, you may be like, "What is this comic?" Well, we're about to ruin your life over the next 15 minutes. Um,
Yes. Because you open this comic and the first thing you read is 5 years after the AIDS vaccine.
that's right. Which, what the fuck did that have to do with any of this? Honestly,
It doesn't have anything to do with it. It's also like, are they implying that before the AIDS crisis, everyone just fucked inanimate objects
I
like
guess.
all the time, and animals, like that bestiality was really big until that, like it yeah, this is makes absolutely no sense. And then also, like, why 5 years?
Yeah, I mean that's not a lot of time to completely rewrite society into what we're about to see. I, this I was trying to as I reread this, and now I had forgotten it. It had gone into the memory hole, and then you brought it up, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, Sam Humphrey, I should look at that again. Then I was like, oh God, no, why? Why did you do this? You pulled a Howard the Duck on me, like I did with Ryan the
Yeah.
other day. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's also important to note that this is like more of like a weird square size. It's not a normal
yes,
size comic.
it's like a meme size. It's
Yeah.
shaped like a meme. It There was a website attached to this that no longer exists. It's that
Yeah.
domain is
The
up for sale. So
the
that's
uh the artist website also doesn't exist anymore. But Sam Humphries' site that hasn't been updated in like 7 years still works.
cool. Oh well, that's good that people are keeping up to. I okay. So I was trying. If you were to describe this comic in one pitch, the elevator pitch, what is your elevator pitch for this comic?
I guess the elevator pitch is 5 years after the AIDS vaccine, everyone develops hyper specific fetishes which lead to violence.
Okay, that actually sounds reasonable. I that Okay, that was a good elevator pitch. Because our first actual comic page, the comic opens up with a line. It was after one of the vegisexual riots,
Yes.
and this is you might like vegisexual. What could that mean? It means people who have sex with vegetables.
Yes.
That is exactly what it means.
And it's violent.
Yes.
And they're filled with anger. We see people getting like their teeth smashed in.
Yes. Like really super super. There's a club that's labeled "bitch maker" caving in somebody's face.
Yeah, and then it leads into this whole bit where it's like vegisexuals were fun to crush. They made me sick. And then it cuts to, made me proud to be a zoosexual. At least you can love an animal.
Right. Our main character here, one of the two main characters, is in a committed relationship with a dog.
Yes.
And then he is a police officer who is kind of they're basically trying to prevent the vegisexual riots. And while he's at one of these riots, he meets someone who is a mineral sexual.
Yeah, it's Gwyneth Paltrow or something. She fucks crystals.
It is Gwyneth Paltrow. That's absolutely correct. Yes. Yeah, so she or he.
Yes, we find out that they identify as a man later on.
We do. Yes, it is a man later, but he's confused because he thinks it's a she, but he's disgusted because he has sex with crystals.
Yes.
And then they have some banter back and forth. But apparently this is a love story because while they're arguing, they're falling for each other, sort of.
Yeah, they're kind of falling for each other, but they're disgusted with each other.
Sure.
China's the name of the dog. Like China's a living mammal, like you or me. Our love is real. You can't take that away from us.
Yes.
And then I happen to find living mammals revolting.
Yeah.
So really, this is just Tumblr.
Yeah. There you go.
This is people talking. This is weird Tumblr kink stuff. But
if Tumblr was a comic, it would be this comic.
Yeah, it's and there's jokes about like crystal sex lasts for like 5 hours. How long do you and the dog go at it? Like a minute? Like
yeah.
It's funny.
Do you think Sam Humphries was trying to create a clever view of society? I mean, like what was his plan? Do you have
this was super duper edgelord. I'm gonna make a comic so edgy, everyone's gonna talk about it, and it's gonna get me gigs. And unfortunately for all of us, it worked.
Yeah, he was correct.
Because on the back, it does stuff that still happens to this day. This might be, in part, the patient zero for the horrible time we all have now.
This is our patient zero right here, this comic.
This might be because on the back it says file under sci-fi/OMG/WTF. Like, this is a very, like, pat myself on the back. I'm so edgy. Oh my God. I can't believe you wrote that. Wow.
Maybe this is actually Twitter the comic.
It might be. This is early days of Twitter, but yeah, and then in small print at the bottom, not only do you have your the ourloveisrealcomic.com, which I don't know what it's like now because it's gone, but it's mature content. Hide your children. Seriously, not for kids. Like, it's very very proud of itself.
Yeah, it does feel like it's proud of itself. I mean, there's these, like, you get this locker room scene where the other police officers, who apparently are also zoosexuals, are trying to kind of shame the guy by maybe being attracted to a girl.
Yeah,
and this is funny somehow. They're making jokes like, "Oh, you're gonna dress your dog in a wig tonight? You're gonna fuck her in a skirt, make her wear shoes," and I mean, it's some banter. We later briefly get him hanging out at a zoosexual bar, watching dogs humping reindeer, I think is what's going on there. They're watching zoo porn.
Yeah, but then there's like a guy like holding up and grinning at a very small dog, whose tail is going crazy.
Yeah, he killed
Just
that
stuff
one.
like that. Then yeah, there's it's a Christmas movie with it looks like a dog fucking a reindeer, and then there's
Yeah,
also the panel of him naked from the waist up with his dog China that says, like China could tell I was distracted.
yeah, because he's feeling these feelings for the mineral sexual woman
Yeah.
who's actually a man, which is the most normal part of this whole thing.
Yeah, but also has aged incredibly poorly.
Yes.
This
Oh yeah,
would
yeah, for sure.
instead of launching Sam Humphries' career, this would have sank it if it came out today.
Yeah, it's but that's interesting, right? Because it's weirdly very much feels like a product of today, and yet it would absolutely kill his career today.
Oh yeah. No, without question. I mean, it's incredibly insensitive to a lot of stuff that is out there and being talked about today with gender identity and issues like
Yeah.
that.
And yet seems very plugged into current language and talk, and
Yeah.
like you say, it's meme based. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Mhm.
so they basically they meet up. He gets to meet the crystal. They talk a little bit. He winds up kissing her. That's where she reveals she's actually male. And then he's confused by this, but does it really matter because he normally is sleeping with a dog? I don't know.
Yeah, now he's struggling with this idea like, am I gay? And like, I guess the commentary here is it's always ridiculous. Like, no matter what situation, no matter what the situation, it is ridiculous for someone to have these like crazy, like, what if I'm gay kind of thoughts like that. It's not a big deal. It's not a
Mhm.
big deal today. It's not a big deal 10 years ago. And it's not a big deal in this like fantasy world where all this stuff is,
Yeah.
where everyone's fucking everything for it's just as ludicrous. I don't think, I, I think that's what he was going for. I don't think it lands here.
No, you don't really get. You just get kind of confused because we spent a lot of pages. I mean, we spent like 15 or so odd pages really reinforcing the vegisexual, zoosexual, and mineral sexual lifestyles.
Yeah.
And I mean, God knows what ones never made it into the comic. I'm sure there was a list somewhere.
Oh yeah.
We'll interview Sam Humphries sometime and we'll ask him like, what are the B sides of this
Yeah.
book that Ned didn't make? Yeah, that would be a great conversation.
Absolutely.
So he does go for this moment that say, but again, like you said, it doesn't land because we're well into insanity at this point.
Yes.
So we kind of our story tries to wrap up by he sees somebody looting a jewelry store.
Mhm.
He goes in to stop it, and he runs into another mineral sexual. They have a fight. They do some punchy punch there, and then this girl guy this mineral sexual comes in, and they kill him. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this thing well. Like what?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too here though is like there was, if we're gonna get nitpicky with you know the art direction here and all that, like there's the guy, he's like the looters like robbing,
Mm-hmm.
and like all we see are the guy on the ground and then like on the next page him running out of there in the background, and like
Yeah.
it feels like they could have done a better job here with establishing that there was an actual threat to this guy, and that the guy like running, like there could have been a little more there. I don't know why they, like, why
Well,
even have a guy he's threatening, just have him looting the store instead of even bothering with the guy.
And then it turns out they're not looting the store. They're trying to liberate the other crystals because they want to have they love them.
Yes.
They're trying to do what's right, which is to have sex with some crystals that are in a jewelry store.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it's not all sexual, but anyway, they kill him. They kill our one of our leads.
Mm-hmm.
They then they burn his body into ash and then put them under amazing pressures for a long time to make a crystal. And then somehow the crystal gets back with the guy, the girl, the guy, and they have mineral sexual sex. And that's the end.
Yeah, but she says kill him. So so this guy blows his brains out, or
Right.
he says that, and he's still not, but he's not dead because he's still living in the crystal.
Yeah, I guess
which makes no sense.
His soul and sentience survived past being murdered and compressed into this crystal, and then they have incredible sex.
It would have worked better. Like, again, I'm talking about a comic I don't even like that came out 10 years ago.
How would it have worked better here, Joe?
It would have worked better if it wasn't the cops dialogue after this, but if it was Bryn talking about the crystal.
Agreed. Yeah.
That would have made a lot more sense.
It would have. Yeah, because we are, I mean, I'm at this point, suspending our disbelief really isn't the problem. but
no, but it's like, it is a shame because it actually would have helped make this, like, it would have added this like dark, creepy twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
But instead it's this weird happily ever after kind of thing, but it doesn't make sense because you can't suspend, like, the way they do it, it's impossible to suspend your disbelief. Whereas the other way around, you could picture like, oh, that person is psychotic and killed this guy to have sex with him as a crystal.
Yeah. No, it would have had a Black Mirror kind of quality that your way.
Yeah.
But instead, it's a love story.
Yeah, it's and yeah, it's not. It doesn't work at all.
So. Yeah, okay. So Sam Humphries is doing Fraggle Rock, which, as you say, is super weird now, having read this comic.
Yeah.
He had worked, he was the architect of MySpace comic books. Which
makes sense.
Yeah, that checks out. And then some people at Marvel read this and say, you're the guy to take over Jonathan Hickman on the Ultimates.
Yeah, and they gave him... didn't he get Uncanny X-Force after Remender too?
Yeah, he would follow up with X-Force after Remender and the Ultimates after Hickman.
Yeah,
and then other strange things, like he did Green Lantern in the Rebirth era. Yeah, there was his career. His career took off right after this.
It's like sputtered out though. I don't even know what he's doing anymore.
Well, I mean, he's got a website, so we could see. Oh, it hasn't been updated.
Yeah, but the thing with this book is I've never forgotten he did this, and whenever it comes up, I'm like, oh, it's that guy, and I've had a very difficult time reading anything he's done because of this comic.
Sure. I mean, how could you not? It's seriously SRSLY, not for kids.
Yeah. It's just one of those comics that's like, it's so bad. Like I hate the people involved. It's just like, I don't like any of you. Like, this is awful. This is like, but yeah, that back page where it's like, that whole thing where it's like sci-fi and OMG WTF. I'm like, no.
What it's got a quote from current Avengers writer Jason Aaron as well.
It does. Jason Aaron was a
splendidly perverse and eye-poppingly gorgeous fistful of futuristic. You don't use the word like
I don't know what the fuck. He's gorgeous. I mean, the art's fine. It's not, but gorgeous, like, I don't know, but Steven Sanders again, he's someone else who like did some other work at Marvel other than Sword years ago.
Yeah,
But
no, he did some stuff with Wolverine. I think he did some issues of Uncanny X-Men. He did
he's worked with Jason Aaron. I think that's probably how they got Jason Aaron
that would make sense.
to do
Maybe
that.
we can only speculate. He did some work with Infinity with yeah, I mean he did quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's troubling and confusing. Is probably the best way to put this. But I'm with you. I think this may be. People have talked about the patient zero of kind of this weird, goofy way of describing things. But this is kind of Tumblr or Twitter the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should never speak of this again.
Yeah, no, we never should. Never read it again.
Yeah.
You know, if it's for people who don't necessarily believe us and are like, I need to know more. It's available on Comixology, I believe, right?
Yes, that's where I went to go get it when you reminded me of it, thinking I was in for a good time. That was not the case. But yeah, you could get your hands on this really easily. You could get a fistful of action very easily.
Yeah, and then you too will never be able to pick up another thing Sam Humphries has done without thinking like, oh God, that like our Love Is Real comic. Like, and like I'm not sure if it's one of those things, like it probably sounds funny to a creator at first, be like, see, you're thinking of that comic for everything I do. But now a decade later, it's like, oh no, they're thinking about that comic I did.
Yeah.
Instead of that, you know.
Yeah, this sticks with you. So, folks, if you too want to have a terrible evening, Our Love Is Real. It will put ideas into your head that very strong whiskey will be needed to get rid of.
Yes, you know. So do yourselves a favor and suffer with us.
Yes, please. Yeah, Twitter the comic. That's what you want, Joe. Thank you very much for torturing yourself. Yeah, this was bad.
No, this was very bad. Thank you for letting me start my Monday off with a bang.
Yeah, no pun intended. Oh, God.